not going to drop around. Apart from those first two where they were kind of just getting their feet in the WGL, it was their first matchup. It was the first time they'd played this season. You know, I think there might have been some jitters there. So, you know, there's possibilities, I guess, for Coalition Zoo, but I really have to think that Team Efficiency, if they're on the ball tonight, should be able to run this one over 5-0. Now looking at the tank pick, or the map picks for tonight.
Absolutely. So, Mines and Cliff vetoed out first by Team Efficiency and TCZ first off. Obviously, I think Cliff is just an insta-veto from TCZ.
Yes,
whenever we see them. They just do not want to play on that
And that's
map.
fair enough as well against Team Efficiency. I have to say, I think Cliff is one of their stronger maps. So that actually works out that sort of dynamic quite nicely for Coalition Zoo.
Yeah, absolutely. And Steps is going to be the first pick there for Team Efficiency. So, obviously, they're a bit of a fan of the kind of boost they can get on Steps. I think I saw Safi, was it, doing a little bit of
yeah, he was doing a bit of
boosting.
boosting. Yeah. But, you know, we saw the guys of Team Efficiency on Steps yesterday against Coalition Zoo. It didn't work out so well for them. It was a 1-1. They looked really good on the defensive side, but there was that interesting strategy that Karen Tiger had with the SU-14 and the IS-7, which was definitely difficult to break for Team Efficiency. I don't think that's going to be an issue here for them up against Coalition Zoo. Obviously, looking through the rest of the map pool, Muravanka picked up there by Coalition Zoo.
That.
That's the map that they got the 2-0 over Team Efficiency on last time they faced each other. But is Team Efficiency going to come back into this one and have some sort of new strategies on Muravanka, I wonder?
Well, I certainly hope so for their fact. But overall, I like TCZ's map picks here. Look, they've got Muravanka, they've got Prokhorovka, they've historically got a pretty good win rate on those maps compared to other maps, and also thinking about their opponents here, Team Efficiency. So I think they've picked well here. They've set themselves up for a good little battle. And Team Efficiency, obviously, they're pretty confident on Steps, confident on Ghost Town. That's why they've picked it. And if we do end up going to a tiebreaker, it's going to be Steps today. It is our tiebreaker map for the day.
Look, I'm not so sure about this map pool for Coalition Zoo. Yes, I think they're good on Muravanka and Prokhorovka, so I think they've actually done well with their own map picks.
Yeah.
But my issue is that Steps, I feel, should be definitely a 2-0 for Team Efficiency. Ghost Town, if we get there, I feel definitely should be a 2-0 for Team Efficiency. So worst case scenario for me is that we go to the tiebreaker, and in which case it's going to be a 5-4 for Team Efficiency to me. But I don't think that's going to happen even. I think Prokhorovka is pretty good of a map for Team Efficiency as well. My only real concern for them is that Muravanka, you know, maybe they could drop a round or two there.
Okay. Well, interesting that you should say that. I think we'll have to wait and see. I'm still sticking to my original prediction here, which is definitely going to be a 5-2 to TCZ. I know neither you nor Max actually have faith in TCZ, which is interesting considering that Max was the one who made the dream the reality.
They're going to be so cut by that. I think they were pretty happy to have someone finally predicting for them. And now he's just
I predicted
thrown them in the bin.
But yeah, he has thrown them under a bus a little bit. Not happy, Max. Not impressed. But TCZ, I'm sure they won't be. But anyways, we're going to be going with the standard picks. I think the standard kind of predictions.
Yeah, look, I think Team Efficiency is the safe prediction here. It's fair to say that they are obviously coming into this season looking a whole lot stronger than Coalition Zoo. They haven't actually lost a match so far. They did go to 5-4 yesterday against Karen Tiger, and I got to say things looked a little bit sloppy on the side of Team Efficiency, but so did it look for Karen Tiger as well. So it was a bit of an interesting matchup yesterday, and I think if Team Efficiency can come in today and really just fix those issues that they had, they may have been a little bit too aggressive at times, had a bit of, you know, like on Ghost Town, Bolognese going a little bit crazy, and then on Prokhorovka, Skell going a little bit too far forward as well in his little scouting run. So I think, you know, just a little bit of a passive or more passive play style for Team Efficiency tonight might work out a little better for them. Having a look at the tank picks, though, for our first round, it is going to be Steps, as we've mentioned, and nothing too crazy coming out here.
Yeah, look, here on Steps, it's a big, wide, open map, lots of long fields of fire and lots of mobility that you can use on Steps. That's what both of these teams are going to be going for this time, with all of those bat chats, both of them locking in the Kranwagen, the tier 10 Swedish heavy tank as well, and both going to be going with that RE251. Team Efficiency probably going to be setting that one up the boost.
Yep.
And overall, very similar lineups from both of these teams. I think they're on a pretty even playing field in terms of the tanks in this one.
One would think so. Here we go. It's going to be Skell going for the boost, unsurprisingly. Looks like he's managed to get it first try as well, so good job from him. Moore going for a very early scout down through that 2 side of the map, which is a bit interesting. It's going to give a bit of information over to Team Efficiency. 1, that he's not spotted, and 2, that he hasn't spotted anyone else. And Pac-Mania is being spotted out there in the RU251. I think that means the game is going to be up here for Team Efficiency. or for Coalition Zoo, even Team Efficiency have enough information. It's a very similar setup to what we saw Team Efficiency run yesterday as well against Karen Tiger. You can see JT in the Kranwagen getting himself in a position in that sort of C1 area, while the rest of the Team Efficiency, the Bat Chats and the 113, set themselves up down the other side of the rails. So hopefully here for Team Efficiency, or at least that's what they'll be wanting to happen, is that Coalition Zoo is just going to push over these rails, or even push out into JT, allow JT to get lots of free damage out with that Kranwagen.
Yeah.
Ideal world, JT gets a clip off, but if not, Coalition Zoo, obviously pushing JT in that situation, are going to be wrecked by those Bat Chats waiting, like what we saw yesterday for Karen Tiger.
Bit of an issue here, though, for JT with his Kranwagen. He's just been spotted, and before he got spotted, he even knocked down a tree, so it was fairly obvious where he was.
I don't think he's here to be hidden. I think he's there to actually, you know, like, they're supposed to know that he's there. He's the bait.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I guess that could be one method of thinking there for Team Efficiency, using that Kranwagen as the bait. But, well, now the line has been cast, so to speak. The Kranwagen is there in front of everyone, and Bohan's actually been spotted as well. So I don't think TCZ are going to be so foolhardy as to rush right into Team Efficiency there.
No, but really, they can't do anything here. Madhouse is going to be taking some shots from Moore. Just one. Isn't able to trade anything back, and that's going to give Moore a chance to maybe re-peak here, but he's going to go for the safer option, just back out. He's quite content with that small advantage that he's managed to secure already here for Team Efficiency, but this sort of a setup from Team Efficiency makes it really difficult for Coalition Zoo to actually do anything over on this side of the map. You can see how much difficulty Madhouse has doing anything at the moment. Moore just getting so much damage out, taking a little bit in response, but overall it's a pretty favourable trade for Team Efficiency there.
Yeah, look, I'd take that if I was Team Efficiency, as long as Moore doesn't take any more shots.
No, he won't. He's clipping. He's going to go back out here.
Yeah, he should be fine. Oh, do see the trace is getting very, very close to him, but that one is going to miss from Mr. Madhouse. So Moore gets away on about 1149 HP. He does actually have a damaged gun now, so that's suboptimal.
Still got the repair kit though, so if he needs it, he can use it. You know, obviously in this situation, he's opted to save that repair kit. He knows that he's reloading. He's not going to be firing anyway. I think when sort of a fight starts to break out, that's when we'll see more using that repair kit. But for now, like, he doesn't need the gun so much. And in case, you know, maybe he gets tracked or something like that, he's still got that repair kit in the back pocket.
Yeah. That's fair enough, and Moore is going to be running there with the vents, the vertical stabilizers as well.
Yeah, pretty standard setup, really, for the Bat Chat. Occasionally, you'll see coated optics there instead of the gun lane drive.
Yep.
Just for that extra spotting power. But generally speaking, in your Tier 10 Bat Chat, if you've got a good crew, you know, if you've managed to basically get your crew to a position where they've got situational awareness and brothers in arms, you can actually get very close to, or maybe even surpass the maximum spotting distance. So you don't necessarily always need the coated optics. It of course helps with your spotting, but in this situation, Team Efficiency are pretty much going to be able to spot everyone out anyway.
Yeah, no, exactly. He had no trouble spotting out that 113 there, so Moore off to a good start. And right now, TCZ, wonder what they're thinking, because like you said, there's not really much of a way that they can push into Team Efficiency over the rail tracks there. Potentially could be a good idea for TCC to kind of regroup, head back to their spawn and think of another way to tackle this. I would say maybe the 2 flag could be a potential option here.
Yeah, the problem is though that scales up on that boost, and that makes life pretty difficult for the Coalition Zoo. So they do need to be a little bit wary of that. And Madhouse taking so much damage here already is really not helping them out all that much. Like, he's not really achieving a whole lot being in that position.
No, he's not. It's not great play here from Madhouse. Already been dropped down to 736 HP, so 2 more shots from anyone on TE, and he will be going down. So hopefully for his sake he stops taking the free damage, but right now you do see JT there in the Kranwagen ready to strike. I think, honestly, if Team Efficiency can take down Madhouse, then they've got no reason. They may as well just go right after they do so. And Pac-Mania, they're getting a bit of a spot And, oh, well, TCZ, they're not waiting for it. They're going on to TF.
But this is exactly what Team Efficiency wants. Although Party might be a little bit out of position here, he needs to get into a position to actually get some shots on these guys crossing the tracks. JP Xerxes, it looks like Nomad is going to be the one to take the brunt of the damage at the moment, but JP should
Nomad's
be going
alive.
down here. He didn't get his full clip off. JT is still reloading. Eventually we see a kill for Team Efficiency, but I think Party being out of position there has really cost Team Efficiency a lot of the DPM that they needed in that situation. Coalition Zoo have picked the correct time to push over those tracks, and it looks like Team Efficiency are just starting to fall apart here.
Yeah, this is not looking good at all from Team Efficiency. Safi going to be the next one to get taken down, and you called it. That was a bad decision from Mr. Party to move at that time, and TCZ, well, they've just pushed in at the right time, whether they spotted him or not, and now they should be able to brawl it out with Team Efficiency with a 1k HP advantage.
Yeah, it's still 4v4 though. If Safi can manage to survive this somehow, there might be something in it for Team Efficiency, but surely he goes down here. He's going to cross over the track, so he's safe from Joke, but I think Krazib probably has an angle in on towards him. Safi's still doing a pretty good job of surviving here in the end. Joke will be able to take him down, and more, the only real bat chat remaining for Team Efficiency is going to be picked up. It's now down to Bohan and Skell to break through the rest of these tanks. If they can take Joke down pretty quickly, I mean, the Kranwagen of Krazib, it's just probably not possible here for Team Efficiency. It's all down to Skell and a 1-on-3. I don't think he's going to be able to pull this one off, to be honest. And yeah, that was just a slight mistiming from Team Efficiency.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate for TE, but well played for the guys on TCZ.
Well,
they did manage that solid win.
I'm wrong already with my prediction. I said it was going to be a 5-0.
Nah, you got to have some faith in the boys.
Yeah, look, I think that was, again, just a bit of a misplay from Team Efficiency. I'll have to have a look at the VOD again and see whether or not Party got spotted. I'm not sure if he was actually spotted or if Coalition Zoo just decided now's the time and they might have got a little bit lucky in a sense.
I'm leaning towards that a little bit because from memory he wasn't actually spotted. So you know, when TCZ went in as well, there was actually another issue on Team Efficiency's side. They couldn't get the first kill onto the first TCZ member that pushed over. That was a big problem because the Batchat was able to get his full clip off, whereas when we've seen that happen yesterday, for example, on steps, as soon as the first Batchat from the attacking team heads over that railway, bam, instantly blown up. Lucky if you get one shot off. TCZ, that Batchat there, able to get 5 shots off before it dropped.
I'm a little surprised to see that they had the Batchat so far forward as well with JT. I think if JP Xerxes was back with the 113, with his other Batchat, with Safi and Bohan, essentially, like the setup that we saw yesterday from Karen Tiger, that probably would have worked out a little better for them, you know. We would have seen a lot more shots going into the Kranwagen as opposed to the Batchat. The Kranwagen was already on the reload, so he wasn't doing anything anyway, and it would have been much more beneficial for Team Efficiency if he were the one taking the damage, instead of the Batchat, which still had 3 shots left when he died.
Yeah. 100%. So, well, potentially a few little minor mistakes here from Team Efficiency, but look, overall, congrats where credit is due to Team Coalition Zoo for taking out that first one there on steps, and interested to see which TCZ members ended up on the top of the scoreboard there. So let's take a look at that one. And we will be seeing Crazy actually in the Kranwagen up the top with 2.9 thousand damage. Where's JT?
Yeah, some missing names there for Team Efficiency. I mean, you can say, obviously, the Batchats are not there. Party and Safi not really getting the damage across that they needed. And really just a good-looking scoreboard for the Coalition Zoo, to be honest. Yeah,
Madhouse, look, I was a little bit worried about Madhouse earlier on there. You know, he was taking so many shots from Moore, but props to him, he ended up on the top of the scoreboard. And yeah, JT there in the Kranwagen at 849 damage. His red line sniping did not work that time.
Well, I mean, that's not his job in that position. His job is not really to deal damage. Like, if he gets damage out, that's great. But you know, obviously would have liked to have seen him at least connect all 4 of those shots. He's only managed to connect a couple of them, unfortunately, for Team Efficiency. But at the end of the day, it probably wouldn't have made a difference whether or not he got 2 shots worth of damage or 4 shots worth of the damage there. That was not the issue. The issue was the Batchat going down so early, Party not being in that fight, available to deal damage when it needed to be done. And, you know, some things to fix there for Team Efficiency.
Yes, well, and it is a little bit actually worrying for them to have them lose that first map that they actually picked. So
we saw it last time. We saw them get 2-0 on Muravanka, which was, if you remember, their pick last time they faced Coalition Zoo. So at this point, I'm not too worried.
Okay, well, look, I hope Team Efficiency can really keep it together for this next half on Steps. I think being on the attacking half, it might be a little bit harder for Team Efficiency, I would almost say, because if TCZ can, get that boost up, maybe they'll pick something like an Ooze, I reckon.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a very high likelihood that we are going to be seeing an STRV or a UDES. I'm probably leaning towards the UDES for Madhouse. We've seen him do it before here on Steps. It's a very strong strategy, and we'll have to see how Team Efficiency is going to go about cracking it. I think they're probably going to have a little bit easier of a time here on the attack today than what they did yesterday up against Karen Tiger, who seemed to have a very well-prepared plan for Team Efficiency.
Yep.
I don't think that's something that Coalition Zoo will have. So it'll be a little bit easier for Team Efficiency in my mind, but it's not going to be a super easy nut to crack, especially with that tank boosted up over the 2 flag.
Yes, well, it's not going to be easy for T at all, but who knows, maybe they've got some interesting attacking strategy. We probably won't be expecting to see any artillery pieces picked here, but guys, let us know what your favourite tank to see on Steps is. So with the hashtag WGL APAC, of course, at WGL APAC on Twitter, all of that fun stuff. But get involved with the conversation, and also make sure you're watching us from live.wgleague.net, because we've got some polls in store for everyone and quests in store for everyone today. Yeah. So the APAC esports fan and APAC pro tanker quests. But I don't think anyone's going to be ending up as a pro of a tanker as these guys here playing right now, Team Efficiency and TCZ.
I mean, we've got some of the pro tankers hanging around in Twitch chat, I'm sure.
Well, maybe, so yeah.
There's a good chance that they are actually going to end up that good. Still, digressing a little bit there. We've seen already Coalition Zoo pulling off one round. You've predicted obviously 2. Do you think it's going to come here on Steps, or will it come later down in the map pool?
Well, look, there's still Muravanka. There's still Prokhorovka. I would love to say that TCZ will get another win here, but I feel as though if they do, my prediction won't come right, because I reckon between Muravanka and Proc, they'll also get a win somewhere. Yeah. So because of that, I'm going to stick to my prediction. I'm going to say that TCZ won't win this next half, but it will be very close.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I felt like of the map pool, it was going to be Muravanka or Prokhorovka where Coalition Zoo was going to have their best chance of finding a round. So to see them starting off well here on Steps and getting a win already, I think that's a good sign early on in the piece for them. I think Team Efficiency may be in danger, perhaps, of bleeding a couple more rounds than they would have liked up against Coalition Zoo tonight.
Potentially. And with any luck, this one might go to a tiebreaker, who knows? But we're a long way there yet. Let's take a look at the tank picks for our next half on Steps. And we will be seeing the Utes from TCZ, Team Efficiency. I was actually wondering about that, whether they were going to go for the Arty.
That's interesting for Team Efficiency.
Yeah, there we go. They have locked in the Arty, and it will be the M40, M43. Now, that gives them a lot of options now, because it means that Utes has to be a little bit careful up on the boost, has to move around quite a bit so that he doesn't get Arty'd out. And overall, I'm liking that setup from T. They've got Object 940. It'll probably be JT in that one, just so we can farm the damage. Good setup.
It is a good setup. Team Efficiency with that M4043 surprises me a little bit. Let's find out whether or not it surprised Coalition Zoo a little bit as well. We'll head on in to their communications and see what's going on in the TeamSpeak for them.
You got it right, Mad? You didn't fuck it up?
Alright, so we're pushing further, Mad? How far?
All the way down south. All the way down here.
I'm not spotted. I'm not spotted. I'm not spotted. Clear.
What's my tank doing? Stay still, you fucking stupid.
Okay, and you need somebody to poke over the middle, right?
Okay, they're not here.
They're not there?
Should we get
then one back come down here.
Nomad, do you have optics?
No. Get Roby to do it.
Roby, do you have optics?
Yeah.
Go down bottom.
Poking over the mid real quick.
Go down the bottom, please.
Okay.
Do you want
let's go.
Do you want 113 to position around here?
Yeah, I want 113, one bat here, and then another bat here, and then 2 of the 113s on this hold down position where people used to blind fire over here from.
Yep.
But instead you're just guarding them from coming down here.
You ping the bat locations again, please.
Bat locations? One up here, one here,
Yeah,
and then the other one down here.
Nomad, I'll go on the mid.
Alright.
So Robbie,
Okay,
you gotta be really
then.
careful. Like you
I'm
just
just
come up to
in
me,
like
I'll
a bush,
clip-
yeah?
I'll clip one and then die.
Yeah.
And then die.
We'll just make sure you spot them early, and then we can give you as much support as possible.
Well, I'm dead if they come.
Do you think we should spread out a bit?
What
Am I trying to light
them
them or?
no, I'm doing the lighting.
I'm actually going to shoot this stuff down on the cat right now.
Mad, I don't think if this bat chat gets rushed, we can't help.
Oh,
We lose
blitz.
bat chat.
You just gotta
Run.
run. You just gotta
Run.
run.
Roby's lit. Did he say?
Yeah, they're around here.
So
We'll
Roby's in
look to
trouble
support
then.
him.
And how does Roby get lit when he should be in a bush?
There's no bushes good at the top?
No, you're supposed to go up top on the K line.
Yeah.
There's a
Don't
bush there.
forget it.
Okay then. What? On the other side, you mean?
No.
I thought you guys met in
Have
this
you never
corner.
been in there?
Joke got lit and they fired
No.
You can
shots.
climb up.
Okay, so their tanks are around here, and they must have a spotter around here with optics.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, some interesting conversations going on in there for the Coalition Zoo. As of yet, no one taking too much damage from that M4043. I was really hoping to see Pac-Manius take a big shot again, because he was the one that got one shot by Artie last time on Prokhorovka for Coalition Zoo. I think it would have been a good time in the team speak there if he had got one shot again. But
Yeah, good time.
wishful thinking for me, Alex.
And in the meantime, though, you've seen the 113s light each other up with the 6 cents. Pac-Manius and Bohan just spotting each other there. I don't think those AP shells or the heat shells are going to be doing much.
No, they're going to need to be firing HE at each other if they're going to be set up like that. Interesting, actually, that the Coalition Zoo have opted to go for the UDES as their spotting tank here.
Oh.
You can see how far forward it is. It makes sense. It has a very good camo value. But I feel like it might be a little bit more useful even on the boost. Still, we'll see how Team Efficiency negotiates this. I mean, as soon as Madhouse gets spotted out, he's going to die. Which is fair enough, considering it's a tier 8 tank. But, yeah.
Well,
Just
hopefully
opted
he
to go
doesn't
for the
get
UDES
spotted.
instead of a scout tank.
Yeah. Which honestly, I don't really mind that, because if I don't know, if Team Efficiency push in, or if Madhouse can still do the scouting job quite well. Like,
Yeah,
it's going to
absolutely.
be hard for Team Efficiency to spot him out, and obviously if we do see like a fight where Madhouse doesn't get primaried off.
Trouble is that he's not actually spotting out more at the moment, and he needs to be spotting that cap.
Yeah, it's potentially an issue. Moore here doesn't have a camo net, but Batchat's not the easiest tank to spot in general, and he does have those crew vents, but there we go. He's now lit up and gets a shot put into him. Almost 3 shots put into him after that.
Oh, he's been tracked. Looks like he should get out of there without taking another shot. He's below the ridgeline now. The trouble for Team Efficiency with an M4043 like this is that they don't have a tank that they can really put on that cap. It's obviously not great to be putting the Batchat in that position, especially a player like Moore, who typically is sort of one of the higher damage dealers for Team Efficiency. We saw yesterday he had some struggles, but he was kind of placed in positions at times to not do damage. He was a lot of the time being the one to push forward early, being the one to sit on the flag, something like that. So I would like to see Team Efficiency probably running the IE251 or the 1390 here instead of the M4043. I don't think the artillery has been too effective for Team Efficiency.
You say that, but I'm pretty sure it was the Artie that just did a 750 damage shot towards Pac-Manius there. So, and almost tracked him, which is quite effective. And every time Pac-Manius gets spotted out, it can mean another Artie shot. That one has just missed. You did see there.
I suspect the reason that they've opted to go for the Artie here is that they know Coalitions who like to use that UDES. They like to get that boost going on. And the Artie's a pretty decent counter to that. You can get some pretty easy shots into the tank up in that boost. But Coalitions who have thrown a bit of a curveball here in that they haven't actually got Madhouse up on the boost. They've got him forward and scouting, and so Team Efficiency haven't really seen anything like this before from Coalition Zoo, and they're just trying to figure out what they're supposed to be doing here on the attacking side of steps.
Yeah, well, this is very, very interesting. It's certainly not been an easy start to the attack here for Team Efficiency at all. Very solid hold, and you know, we could hear the in-depth strategy that Madhouse was communicating to his team when we jumped into the team speak there. You know, had every Batchat in the exact position where he wanted them.
Madhouse, they figured out where he is now. He's dead.
That's a bit
He wasn't even
unfortunate.
spotted, I'm pretty sure. He just got
wasn't.
blind-fired. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much exactly what Team Efficiency needed. Now they can start to open up the map a little bit, but in saying that, they've only got 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to work with. So we are going to have to see a pretty quick strategy coming out from Team Efficiency now.
Yeah, T, they really will have to be decisive. It's looking like they're just going to be going for the cap now, because TCC don't have any members that can spot on the cap. 3 minutes and 6 seconds left to do so. TCC have put 2 members on the cap, so in 45 seconds that cap will go off if no member of TCZ resets it. And we are going to be seeing some blind firing. I'm actually starting to get a little bit worried for team efficiency here because, look, they're moving another tank off the cap. They've only got 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. Oh.
They've had to try and bait this one out. Like, they can't allow 2 Batchats to be sitting out in the open like that on the cap. So they've successfully baited Coalition Zoo into trying to get the reset. They've backed off the flag at the perfect time almost. And it's now up to Team Efficiency to deal the damage that they need to do now. They've got the fight that they wanted, and now they need to execute the fight that they need to. Party's picking up Lion. That's a very good start to it for Team Efficiency.
Yeah, that's big kill there for Lion. He still had a few shots in the clip, and now Pac-Manius going to be getting the kill onto Bohan.
It's okay for Team Efficiency. Bohan going down there. He was obviously pretty low HP to start things off. Safi finding a kill onto Pac-Manius. Party finding one onto Nomad. And I think Coalition Zoo maybe have just let a little bit too much bleed here. Joke and Roby1 Kenobi trying to hightail it out of there. But there's plenty of time for these Batchats for Team Efficiency just to chase them down. I think this one is going to be going the way of Team Efficiency.
Yeah, you reckon this is going to be very hard for Roby1 and Joke to run away. Roby1 at least is in the Batchat, so there's a small amount of potential he could run around for a little bit, but now we do see Team Efficiency putting 2 members on the cap. That's 50 seconds to go, so yeah, at this point it's just a matter of cleanup for Team Efficiency. They're going to win either by cap or by these 2 medium tanks, or 3 medium tanks now with more joining them, chasing down the remaining members of TCZ.
Yep.
And it was looking a little bit shaky. I actually don't think TCZ really needed to push in there like they did. I think they could have just tried to keep on blind firing the cap, or...
Yeah, they probably had a little bit of extra time to play with, to be honest. But, you know, when Team Efficiency picked up that kill onto Madhouse, that's when you felt things sort of started to really open up for Team Efficiency. They were going to be able to make something of this one. If they hadn't got that kill onto Madhouse, then it would have been quite a lot more difficult for Team Efficiency here. But in the end, they do get the job done there. It's a 1-1 after steps. Was Team Efficiency's pick, so maybe not going to be so happy about that, but at least it's a better start than last time where they got 0-2 on the first map.
Exactly. So not a bad start at all there by Team Efficiency. I think TCZ, though, they're going to be pretty happy with that.
Yep.
So going 1-1 on steps, and, you know, looking forward to our next map, which is TCZ's pick now, Maravanka.
Yep.
If you're Team Efficiency, you've got to make sure you're on your game, because that was... well, some really good play by Team Coalition
Team Efficiency definitely can't rest on their laurels here. We've seen definitely that Coalition Zoo can contest with them on their day, and Team Efficiency, you know, if they make their mistakes, the Coalition Zoo are going to punish them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really liked seeing that in-depth strategy there from TCZ. You know, they got all of their batches into a great position where they could spot out any forward-facing members of Team Efficiency. Of course, the Udez, he was right up in that forward bush to spot out any members on the cap, and it was lucky for Team Efficiency, really, that they did spot out the Udez, because if they didn't, then they would have been in a lot of trouble, or not spot out the Udez, but kind of proxy spot via shooting the bush.
Yeah, blind fire essentially. But my main question here, my main concern is for Team Efficiency is how JT did in that one. We've actually seen JT get knocked off the pedestal of their most average damage dealt in the last couple of days. Yushishan Power is now up the top. JT's following behind him closely by about 5 damage per round that he needs to sort of pick up. So it's still pretty close, but Yushishan Power's overtaken him. So my question is how much damage JT's actually managed to do here.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, I didn't really see too much coming out from JT, but why don't we find out with our post-game stats here?
Well, that'll help.
3K, yeah.
3K is good.
30 shots fired, lots of blind fires, of course, in the Object 140. And, well, more. It's good to see more back on the top of the score, because last time we saw Team Efficiency play more, really, it was lacking a little bit. And here on steps, obviously, a bit more of a familiar map for him as well. So he's made that one count. Skell in the M40 dealing about 1,400 damage as well, which is not a bad result. And Joke and Nomad for TCZ, their members representing the top 7.
All right, well, let's have a look on the other side. Madhouse not getting anything done in the UDES. Pac-Manius, not even a shot worth of damage. Krazib only a couple in the 113. And Roby1 Kenobi not really doing enough in the Batchat either. Another pretty uncharacteristically low performance there from Party. Typically expect him to see expecting to see him up a little bit higher on the scoreboard for team efficiency, but I think, across the board, team efficiency have got a lot of players that can deal the damage this season. You know, they don't necessarily rely so much on the likes of Party, on the likes of Safi, who they were leaning on a little bit more last season. Even more this season, isn't having as much of an impact in terms of the damage that he was last season. So I think, JT stepping up quite nicely. Obviously, we've seen Granovsky as well stepping up pretty well. So I do like these 2 new additions for team efficiency.
Yeah, look, team efficiency's roster changes, I would say that they've been the most successful so far this season. Karen Tiger maybe following closely behind.
Well, Horseman as well. Like, it's
Well,
hard to say.
actually,
It's hard to
yeah,
say these
yeah,
kind
you're
of
not wrong.
statements. Like,
Horseman.
all of the roster changes so far that we've seen this season have been pretty good, probably with the exception of B Gaming.
Yes, B Gaming have kind of
And
really
I guess
fallen off
Meltdown
the
maybe
cliff.
have fallen off a little bit as well.
Yeah, Meltdown up looking too flash. But yeah, overall, definitely have worked out for team efficiency. And we were looking through the stats the other day, and I noticed from team efficiency that one of their highest stats that they're better than almost every other team in the league on is average penetration rate. I think it's something like kind of around the high 80s percentage, 85-ish or thereabouts, which is actually a really, really good number for team efficiency. And I think you can see the effect in these battles. Whenever they do kind of get their shots to connect, they often go through because TE just great at aiming, great mechanical players. And I think that kind of comes a little bit potentially even from playing over here in Australia, having just that slight higher amount of ping than players that might be playing overseas closer to the server, where it means you're always better off to kind of aim at those weak spots to make sure you go
When
through.
you get the shot, you have to make sure you make it count.
Exactly. So I wonder if that's kind of playing into it at all, but definitely a good stat to be leading in.
Interesting. Anyway, let's think about Muravanka now here. It is Coalition Zoo's first map pick. Last time these two teams faced each other on it, we did see it go to the Coalition Zoo 2-0. But I've got to say, I felt like it was a lot of errors from team efficiency that were being played there on Muravanka. So hopefully for their sake, they've been able to go back, look at that VOD, figure out what went wrong. And I wonder if they're going to default back to sort of the APAC meta of just rushing in towards that 1 flag as opposed to dancing around the Magic Forest around that 2 flag, which is what they did last time. They couldn't find out where Pac-Manius was sitting in the 1390 and their whole strategy just became unraveled.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether they do go for that Magic Forest play. I feel as though, last time as well, maybe they didn't show enough respect to TCZ in kind of their general Muravanka strategy, because previously last season we would often see team efficiency, they'd veto out Muravanka. They'd take it out.
They got rid of it every single time throughout the regular season. The only time they actually played it was at the final. So I'm surprised to see them, allowing it through this season. Well, I'm not so surprised, but, it's obviously a bit of a change-up for team efficiency.
Absolutely. So, I mean, maybe this season they're practicing a little bit more because they haven't vetoed it out. I'm not too sure, but well, I guess we're about to find out whether they have improved or not in the last couple of weeks, Jordan, because they're about to play TCZ on.
Yeah, TCC, who are actually looking pretty reasonable on Muravanka. They've had quite a lot of games on it this season. They've had a pretty decent win-loss ratio. It's not fantastic. I'd say it's probably their second best map, actually, behind Prokhorovka.
Well, TCZ, actually, they up until, I think, yesterday, had a 100% win rate on Muravanka.
Yeah.
So, very, very much a strong map for them. They do know how to play it, and I'm not too sure what elements of the map make it such a strong map for them, whether they are just really good at defending that hill on the defensive side, or know how to push in towards that 1 flag like we've seen them do quite a bit. But overall, very strong map for TCZ, and I am going to be putting down 1-1 on this one. I think TCZ should pick up one side.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, hard for me to say because I did predict the 5-0, so in that case I would have to say, team efficiency should win this one, should win the next one. When I realistically look at it, now that I know the map picks, I do think it's probably leaning towards that 5-2, even potentially a 5-3 here, seeing as Coalition Zoo was able to pick up one on steps. I think Prokhorovka and Muravanka are very real possibility here of potentially going to a 1-1.
Yeah, well, if we end up getting past Prokhorovka as well, I think that's when TCZ, that's when they're going to run into some issues, when we start heading on to Ghost Town and well, mainly Ghost Town, which is Team Efficiency's pick as the 4th map today. But Steps is the tiebreaker as well, and I think if we get to there, then that will depend on whose side is attack and defense. But it's time to head on to Muravanka.
It's going to be interesting to see if we do get to Steps how each team will choose what side they want to go on there, because I think both of them probably are still going to be favoring the defensive side, even though they've kind of found their wins both on the attack. You know, it just feels to me like they're probably a little bit stronger on the defense. Anyway, that's something to discuss if we do get there in the end. Now looking forward onto Muravanka. We'll see in a second what tanks are going to be coming out here. I don't think it's going to be too surprising, to be honest. And indeed it's not. Although an Object 432 for team efficiency, you know, that's something kind of new. Like, we don't see that all that often. And they don't actually have a dedicated scout tank here on the attacking side. So that sort of makes me think they're probably not going to be trying to lurk around and play around. They're going to just try and go for a fight.
Yeah, I would say so as well. The Object 432, I actually like that Tier 9 Soviet medium tank quite a bit, because it's got a bouncy enough turret that it's going to ricochet some shots, and it's still got very, very high DPM. So you can't just leave it alone, even though it's a Tier 9. I think it will be... No, JT's in the Tier 125, so it will actually be Bohan in the 432, which I guess is the bounciest out of all of those medium tanks.
So you can see that immediately it's a completely different strategy here for team efficiency. Instead of messing around in the forest, instead of messing around over towards the 2 flag side of the map, they have gone for what I'm calling now the APAC meta, which is just get in towards that 1 flag early with your bat chats, or even your Kranwagens or T125s, whatever it may be. Get them in towards the flag, get 3 of them in there, and really put the pressure on early on the defensive side. That's exactly what's happened here. Coalitions who are going to have to respond, and they have. Pac-Mania is starting to push through the Magic Forest. He's getting a lot of information here for the Coalition Zoo. It's a good shot, though, there from, I think, might have been Bohan. Yeah, looks like he's the one on the reload. So nice little trade for them early on in the piece. There's a reset, though, but they need to actually commit to this fight, Coalition Zoo. And their tanks aren't in the position.
No, they aren't in the position, and they can't get meaningful damage out, because Joke, he's firing at the turret of an Object 432. That's why I love this pick so much.
Pac-Manius is in a very good spot, though. You can see those shots coming all the way from him down through the back of those Team Efficiency members, and, well, that's going to pretty much deny any sort of potential cap pressure that Team Efficiency had here. They will opt to push forward JP Xerxes, going straight in towards Kraziv. That's pretty good focus fire there. We've seen 2 tanks already going down for the Coalition Zoo. Team Efficiency able to find a 3rd. Madhouse going down. Nomad in the meanwhile did pick up Safi, but overall, that's a very good trade for Team Efficiency. They chose the right time to go in, and you can see Pac-Manius, he'd already used up quite a few shots, wasn't being able to do too much in the 1390, and then some very good focus fire. Kraziv went down very early. Roby1 Kenobi went down very early, and they just weren't able to get the damage out that they needed to before they were taken down. So I think Team Efficiency have played this one pretty well, and certainly a lot better than their last attacking side on Muravanka that we just saw.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, with more getting on towards that 1 flag right there, that is going to seal the deal for TCZ. There's no way that those 3 members of TCZ can realistically take out Team Efficiency, who are now 5 tanks strong. JT rather, still on 2200 HP. Skill in the batch at AP still looking very, very healthy. Look, I like Pac-Manius' positioning there, but the rest of TCZ just seemed a little bit out of it. And Team Efficiency made the right move to punish TCZ's tanks that were out of position. Just like that, they're going to win by cap.
Does seem that way. Pac-Mania is probably not even going to get in here in time to go for the reset, so fairly anticlimactic end to that one, but Team Efficiency pick up the win nonetheless and put themselves at a 2-1 advantage.
Solid win there from Team Efficiency, and look, I like that strategy more than the Magic Forest stance. I think that was a really smart idea from Team Efficiency to put that Object 432 in there to start off with, because the STB1, it got about 2, maybe even 3 shots off across at the Object 432 that if it were something else, if it were like a Bat Chat, if it were a TVP, if it were any other tank fast enough to get in there in time, it would have probably just gone through and been an extra, what, 600, 900 damage. But in the case that it was the Object 432, those shots ricocheted, he had to load HE to get the resets, and it was just a great little start there from Team Efficiency. They used that momentum, they pulled the trigger at the right time, and yeah, ended up with a win.
Now it's up to Coalition Zoo, though, to respond on their attacking side. You know, we've seen, obviously, the defensive side not working out too nicely for them there. So in the back of their minds, they would have been thinking, okay, guys, we could win this one pretty easily. You know, Team Efficiency, they didn't look strong on it last time, but TE have come in with a very different strategy there on the attacking side. They probably shake things up a little bit on their defensive side as well. And I suspect they're probably going to have a little bit easier of a time this time dealing with what the Coalition Zoo is going to throw at them.
Yeah, well, I think so as well. I think the other side for TCZ, thinking historically they've obviously won just about every match on the Muravanka attack that they've played. So there's every chance that they could win this one as well. But team efficiency obviously not going to make it easy. I think on the defensive side from T, we can expect some T125s or 1 or 2. Maybe a Kranwagen.
I can see Bohan or JT. I'll probably expect to see JT in a Kranwagen. We'll talk about that in a sec. First now, let's have a look at the post-battle stats for that one there on Muravanka. It was JT up towards the top, 1900 damage dealt. Not a very high damage game, to be honest.
Yeah, that's actually not massive. Obviously, it was a cap win, so wasn't much of a chance for team efficiency to really farm that damage up. But JT up the top there with 8 shots fired. Look, he did work in that T125. Credit where credit's due. And Nomad, the only member of TCZ, up the top with a measly 1263 damage. But look at that, Bohan in the Object 432, tier 9, 1546. Can't be disappointed with that.
Oh, and I dare say he dinged a couple of shells as well, but yeah, nothing too surprising up the top sort of 7 there. I don't think we're going to be seeing anything too spectacular from Coalition Zoo on the other side of the scoreboard as well, and I would be proven correct. Kranwagen only a couple of shots out, Batchat only a couple of shots out. One of the Batchats only 1 shot out, and I mean, you know, it's not a pretty sight for them.
Yeah, that's far from ideal from TCZ. There, you'd definitely be hoping that some of those bottom members were doing a little bit more damage. And Pac-Manius, at least, he was able to get a few key shots in with that AMX 1390 from the Magic Forest. Got some good spots across, and maybe if TCZ had some bigger tanks in there to get those resets off, we might have seen a lot more damage, might have seen it go a different way, but they only had the AMX 1390 in there to get those kind of free, very easy shots on towards those TE guys on the cap. And
yeah, and I think that's part of the issue, I suppose, with picking the STB there to put it in that reset position. I feel like a Kranwagen is going to be so much easier to get the resets with. Obviously, if you choose the incorrect time to be clipping, then it becomes an issue, but the STB is a little bit easier to get through the turret. It's a little bit harder to peak safely, but if you're in the Kranwagen, obviously you're never really going to get panned in the turret.
Yeah, it's interesting because they did have the Kranwagen there, TCZ, but they didn't really use it too effectively, I guess. They put it up on the hill, and in any game where you're up against all of those Batchats and Muravanka, like a Kranwagen on the hill never does anything, because at this level of play, you know, team efficiency, they will never let like a Kranwagen just, you know, peak over the hill like 50, 100 meters from
Well,
the
that's why I'd
Batchats
rather see the Kranwagen on the red line.
Exactly. So I would agree with that and say that, yeah, it should have been probably the Kranwagen to get those resets over the STB one.
I think that's probably what we'll see from team efficiency as well. That's what they ran last time. JT in the Kranwagen on the red line to get the resets. They had a T125 as well, if you remember. I believe it was Bohan, who was just hanging around the lower area of that hill. He had to be the one to actually peek around the corner because JT was unable to get the resets. He got taken down early, and it sort of fell onto the shoulders of Bohan then. But if JT can manage to survive a little bit longer this time in that Kranwagen, if they do opt to go for that kind of a strategy, I can see this being a bit of a difficult nut to crack for Coalition Zoo.
Yeah, potentially. I'm not too sure, but I think for TCZ's sake, hopefully they are able to get one win here on Muravanka. I think it is their map pick, of course, so their first map pick as well. They do feel confident on it. They have shown that they do know how to play it against team efficiency in the past, but yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see for the tank picks in this one, see which tanks TCZ will be going with.
Alrighty, well, for TCZ, nothing too surprising. Team efficiency are actually gone for an Emil 2 and a Kranwagen instead of having that T125 and the Kranwagen. So that's a little interesting for me, but fairly sort of a similar setup to what we would have thought we would be seeing out of team efficiency. Now, Coalition Zoo with a bit of a heavier lineup with a couple of those 113s in there. It's nothing too crazy out from them. We'll probably just see the 113s getting onto the cap there with the Batchats hanging around in sort of a trap position and hopefully getting the bait sort of set up there for team efficiency with the Kranwagens, but let's have a look and find out what Coalition Zoo is going to do. They do oftentimes like to push forward early as well, and that's where the 113s start to help out as well because they are pretty quick tanks, but this time it's looking like they're going to be getting actually onto the cap with the Batchat. So every time I see Coalition Zoo playing on Muravanka, they're changing things up a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead of the heavies on the cap, it's the mediums this time.
Okay, I like that from TCZ.
And immediately have a look at this little bit of a rotate that Team Efficiency have got going on here. Safi and Skell starting to push up into the Magic Forest, and it's a very good response to the early push that Coalition Zoo have done here. They know they're going to be relatively safe, and Safi's going to be getting himself into an easy position for reset, so I'm not too bothered by this one at all for Team Efficiency.
Yeah.
We should very momentarily see some resets coming out. Team Efficiency just needs some spots on those guys on the cap.
Yeah, they do, and look,
Or even
Bohan,
they don't even need that. Pac-Manius gets reset.
Yeah, there you go. Bohan in that ML2, he's in that spot that you wanted to see the Kranwagen last game, and he's just going to be able to get all of those free resets. I think TCZ, they probably should have pulled the trigger as soon as they got fired upon from those tanks in the Magic Forest, but it's not looking like that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
Just kind of floundering around on the cap. And
They've lost this game already.
Yeah.
Like, you can't sit in this position and allow those guys to get so much damage in from the back. I mean, this is pretty much already over, barring some sort of massive throw from Team Efficiency. Look at the HP difference. It's about 4,000 already. We're not even 2 minutes into the game, so Coalition Zoo now are going to start to finally deal some damage back over to Team Efficiency into more, but this has just been a slow and steady defeat, really, for Coalition Zoo, and it never looked like a situation where Team Efficiency was going to lose this side.
Yeah, I don't know what Team Efficiency, or what Team Coalition Zoo were doing here, just sitting on the cap and letting their tanks get torn apart by Team Efficiency in the bushes, in the Magic Forest. And yeah, well, they're just paying the price for it now. There's no way that TCC can come back from this one. They've only just taken out their first tank on Team Efficiency's side. They're trying their best to brawl here, but TE, as soon as they get their clips back in those bat chats and the Kranwagen and the bat chat APs, they should just be able to take them out.
Yeah, Coalition Zoo really needed to have someone watching that angle if they were going to go for a quick strategy like that, but they didn't, and it allowed Team Efficiency just to get so much map control, and that's something that Coalition Zoo often fails to, or neglects to even really recognize, is that the importance of map control. They don't tend to control the map so well, especially like on Himmelsdorf. They just sit up in towards their one little corner, and they allow the rest of their opponent to kind of move around the map quite as easily as they would like. And again, that's the case here for Team Efficiency up against Coalition Zoo. They were able to control the map as much as they wanted. Coalition Zoo were doing nothing apart from in that one or two little quadrants that they were sitting in.
Yeah, so Coalition Zoo here. Lion is just going to get chased down, and yeah, there's a big little ram coming from
a big little ram.
Big little ram. I noticed that as soon as I said it, I was like, damn.
Damn.
Well, I thought it was going to be a big ram, and then he rammed him, and then it didn't do much damage. So that was why it was a big little ram.
Right.
Anyways.
Fair enough.
But he had a lot of speed coming into it. But the Batchat 25T, no, only weighs 25 tons, so it's not going to ram for much.
Nope, it's certainly not. But Team Efficiency starting off, well, a little bit better now that they've picked up a few wins on the board. Coalition Zoo, they got that first round, but ever since then, it's kind of looked like it's always been Team Efficiency's game.
Yeah, 100%. Team Efficiency here, I think they're just starting to look strong. And I remember last season we called Team Efficiency a momentum-based team, Jordan. But this season, I think they're a lot more balanced, a lot more kind of stable. They don't require
I do
that
think they are still a momentum-based team. When they get on a good roll, they can keep that roll going. But I don't think they're affected as much by the losses as they were last season.
Well, exactly. They don't get tilted as much by the losses. You know, I'm sure they keep their heads a little bit cooler this season, and I think that's been somewhat reflected when we jump into their team speak.
Generally speaking.
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
There's always the odd, you know, burst or two.
Yeah, well, there always is. There always is. I'm really disappointed that I don't speak all of the languages here in APAC, because I'd love to hear, I'd love to understand what's going on in the other languages.
Exactly. Yeah. I would love to learn all those other languages, but I'd have to learn quite a few.
Yeah.
Start off with probably Japanese, so I can understand Karen Tiger and B Gaming.
Yeah.
And Korean for Meltdown and Dark Wolves. And
Mandarin, then you can learn. You can understand Horseman. They speak Mandarin, I believe, and EL Gaming.
Yeah.
But anyway, digressing a bit. Breaking down that one on Moravanka, Coalition Zoo just looked like they didn't have the same read on the game as Team Efficiency. Like, everything Team Efficiency did was set up well to counteract what Coalition Zoo was doing. So they understood the situation well, and obviously that's the reason they've come out of this one with a 2-0. Let's have a look at the post-battle stats for that one there on the second half of Moravanka, and it's JT up the top again, Alex.
JT doing work. Surprise, surprise. I think, I don't know, I think Team Efficiency should give him a pay raise after this, because he's always on top. 3.9 thousand damage for Mr. JT in the Kranwagen. And I'm not even sure where he was. Like, he was just... Oh, actually, he was on the hill
He
over
was
the
just
cap.
there.
Yeah, he was just there. And that's what happens when you don't rush those Kranwagen. It's like, I think 10 seconds after, like, Team Efficiency started shooting TCZ while TCZ were on the cap, it was just over because TCZ didn't do anything. It just sat.
I wonder what the email did here for Team Efficiency, because I actually am struggling to even remember who was playing the email.
I think it would be 8th or 9th, I reckon. I don't actually remember who was playing it either, but
It was Bohan.
I was wrong. It's not 8th or 9th. It was 13th.
Yeah, he was kind of non-existent throughout that entire game, but it didn't really matter. Team Efficiency had the setup that they needed.
Well, you say non-existent, but that 793 damage. That was not useless damage. That was not.
No, of course, but like he was definitely eclipsed by some of the other guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. But look, I think he got a reset or two off, and at the end of the day, if that's his job, then he completed it. And yeah, Madhouse in the Kranwagen needs to up his Kranwagen skills. I don't think he's quite as adept at that Swedish heavy tank as he is with the Swedish tank destroyer, the STRV 103B.
Certainly doesn't seem that way, at least. Anyway, that's that for the Muravanka map, and we're at 3-1 after the first couple of maps. So Team Efficiency sitting in a relatively decent position here now, heading on to Prokhorovka. I said that I thought Muravanka could potentially be a 1-1, and it looked nowhere near like being a 1-1. I'm going to say the same thing about Prokhorovka, but I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see Team Efficiency come out of this one with a 2-0 as well.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised either, but TE, I think it's not going to be easy for TE to come out of this one with the 2-0, because whenever we see TCZ on Prokhorovka, they always show us some good play. And if Madhouse gets into his S-Tank, if we see some of the guys maybe joke, get into a Kranwagen again, then Team Efficiency are really going to have to be on their game to take that out, because there's just some strategies that TCZ use on Prokhorovka that are so hard to break even when you're playing perfectly, and that's what's earned them wins against some of these better teams in APAC on Proc.
But I think if there's an STRV coming out for Madhouse, we kind of pretty much know where he's going to be sitting up. He'll be likely on the rail line on the defensive side. I think that opens up opportunities for Team Efficiency just to get quite easily in towards that 2 flag, get an IS-7 or a 113 or even a light tank down on that cap. And there's not really a chance for the STRV to do all that much. So if they can get that position, if they can get the early sort of a setup off, then Team Efficiency should have a good time. Now, what they will need to do is figure out where the S-Tank is. And the issue that they had yesterday was against the S-Tank against Karen Tiger. They were trying to figure out where it was with Skell early on in the piece yesterday. And if you remember, he went way too aggressive there in his light tank.
He just
and he got
yelled
picked
and
off.
died. Yeah. Hopefully Skill doesn't do that. I don't think we're going to be seeing an arty here out of Team Efficiency. They could potentially go with that if they think there's going to be lots of Kranwagen pressure, of course. With the Kranwagen, when you've got it poking up on the hill there in Prokhorovka, one of the good counters to that is picking something like a Lorraine, like an M40, M43, to effectively negate its hold down effectiveness. But Team Efficiency, not really the team that loves the arty that much, so I think we're just going to be seeing a standard setup from them. They might throw in a T110E5 like they do occasionally do, but
Yep, I'd be happy to see an IS-7, T125 here on the defense for Team Efficiency. Not sure what side they're going to be starting on, but we know Bohan has a generally pretty good time with the IS-7 or even the 113 in that position up near the middle crossover. It is going to be actually Team Efficiency starting off on the defense, and there you go, it is the T125 and the IS-7 for Team Efficiency. So I think that's going to be Bohan in the IS-7, probably JT in the T125, the rest of them taking the bats, and then of course Skell in the IE-251. But no surprises on the side of Coalition Zoo either. They've got the S-Tank coming out there.
yeah, well, the S-Tank, that's a good pick there from TCZ. We kind of expected that. Madhouse, obviously, he's going to be the one driving that one. Like the Object 140 for a bit more sustained damage. Crazy DPM, over 3,000 I do believe, with your standard shells on that one. So let's find out where they roll out to. It's looking like nice early scout from Pacmanius, or from Skell actually.
From both.
From both, there you go.
Hopefully this time Skell doesn't push a little bit too far forward. Pacmanius
Hasn't spotted any, that's good. That's
Wow.
actually really good for TCZ that none of their tanks got spotted heading towards a 1-2 line, because that means that now Team Efficiency, they can't counter a 1-2 line push just yet.
No, but Team Efficiency should know that this is a possibility for Coalition Zoo. Very often we see them with the STRV pushing that 1-2 line. So I think Team Efficiency, even though they haven't got the spots there. I think they'll still be aware that it's a possibility. My main concern is that they've actually got quite a few tanks over towards that 2 flag. JT and Party sitting down in the A8 quadrant. JP obviously in the A6 area. That's kind of an area that can cover off the 1 flag a little bit more, but now we start to see a bit of a rotate starting to come across. Oh, Moore's pushing quite far forward. No, he's safe below the lip. I thought it was actually on the other side of the tracks, and I was getting a little bit worried there, but he is going to spot out Krazib. Roby1 Kenobi as well getting spotted out, and that's going to be the game up here for Coalition Zoo, and some early damage as well out for Team Efficiency.
Yeah, well, Moore has just come off the reload, so he should be able to get some damage in soon. I'm not seeing too much damage coming out of TCZ just yet. They've got 1 shot into Safi, but it's not a bad push up this 1-2 line. They could have taken a lot more potential damage, but they made it up here relatively unscathed and got this map position. So that's good for them.
Yeah, Coalition Zoo have got some pretty nice map control off of that. As you said, they haven't taken too much damage, and it's really up to Team Efficiency here to respond to it and figure out how they want to go about defending this 1 flag. So let's have a listen in with Team Efficiency and find out how things are going down.
Can I get more batch? Come more south with me?
Yes,
JP?
coming.
Yep. Just reloading.
Yes, we are reloading.
Just make race car noises instead.
Are they going to stay there? Like, we do not need to do anything here. They don't even send care.
Relax. Everyone chill. Chill.
Dude, Sappy, alright? Just chill.
2 batch at stop. 2 batch at stop. I'm going to scout first.
I'm heading straight down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Who the fuck's spotting that guy? Is that you, Baha?
Yes.
What the fuck?
That's why I'm doing this.
Well, I'm sitting in the bush here, guys.
I thought it was
I'll be
me.
lighting anything that comes through as well. So
I'm waiting for you, Scar.
Yeah, I'm fucking...
back to it.
I
sorry.
only do 80.
Can you please drive faster?
I mean, I wait.
Can you
for
please get some turbo, mate?
Mate, fully sick.
It's because you're not
Okay, I'm
making
spotting.
fucking car noises, dude.
Are you?
There's 2 batch at.
No,
Get close me.
I
Now.
got it.
We stay down here. We'll hide. Hopefully, I'm hiding.
Can't you just bring
Are
these
you-
2 batches to the mid? Put this batch up behind the rock here?
I got lit.
Okay, now dudes
Here
on the
comes the
hill shoot this.
113, 113, 113.
No.
They're going back.
Second 113. They're gonna put 2 113s on cap by looks of things.
Batch at, I need to meet. Batch at.
Batchat's pushing me in.
Batchats.
Straight into our heavies.
Focus on Robbie first.
Focus, Robbie.
Or Lion. Robbie or Lion, anyone.
I'm on Lion.
1 shot on line. I got Robbie.
I can...
Focus on the medium
2 left.
first. Ignore the
I have 2
1
left for
focus on the
Nomad.
mediums.
What the fuck happened
I'm
to my
reloading.
health?
I'm dead.
Guys, you need to push in, don't
Oh,
get
fuck.
farmed by SDRD.
Well, some good initial focus fire there from Team Efficiency, but overall the trade hasn't quite worked out for them. They've lost a couple of tanks. Well, they've lost 3 tanks. Coalition Zoo only losing 2, and overall, favourable start for Coalition Zoo here on Prokhorovka.
Yeah, pretty solid actually. Team Efficiency, look, we could hear them communicating as TCZ came in to get the pushes down. They did manage to get Roby1 and Lion, but really their focus fire still could have been a little bit better. They didn't manage to take down Nomad in that scuffle, and he's got away with 49 HP, but a gun in the game that can deal just over 3,000 damage per minute in the Object 140, so TE really not looking super strong. It's roughly even though.
Yeah, one takeaway though for Team Efficiency at least is that they've managed to survive with 3 Batchats, whereas Coalition Zoo have lost both of their Batchats, so there's still a lot of damage potential on the side of Team Efficiency here. This is definitely a very winnable battle. Obviously the 113s aren't going to be able to stand up to a fully clipped Batchat, so that's the advantage that Team Efficiency have, even though they have a deficit in HP, and it's really just going to be that battle between now how well Coalition Zoo can use that extra health pool that they've got, and how well Team Efficiency can use that extra damage that they've got on the field.
Yeah, look, with TCZ on the cap now, I think this is going to be really tricky because, look, Madhouse is on the cap as well, as is Nomad, and Madhouse is kind of blocking off Nomad there, which is a fantastic move. 24 seconds left. Team Efficiency are pretty much nowhere near the cap. Skell is going to get obliterated as soon as he comes over. So in 17 seconds, Party's basically got a YOLO push this cap. It's not good.
It's not good at all. I actually really like the setup that Coalition Zoo have got here. Getting onto that cap with 3 tanks, it's really put the pressure onto Team Efficiency. And if I'm honest, I think they're a little bit too far away to even get the reset here. It's only 2 seconds, and there's no one to get the reset unless Skell gets a hero shot.
Done.
And there you go. Coalition Zoo, they eventually did take a little bit of damage there, but it was just too little too late there. And Team Efficiency dropping a second round here to Coalition Zoo.
Dropping a second round, and it's always painful to see that, Jordan. Whenever a team has 4 tanks left and you just lose from a cap, and they're 4 fast tanks as well, you know, it's very, very suboptimal. We always seem to see that often against TCZ and often on that flag on Prokhorovka as well, because it's in a bit of a dodgy position. It's not as simple as just picking over the rail tracks and being able to spot everyone on the flag. You know, you actually have to get right in there, drive around the corner of the flag to actually spot those members. And by the time that Team Efficiency did, it was just too little too late.
It was again a pretty good read from Coalition Zoo because we had Moore and Skell down towards the southern part of the map there. There was a guy up on the hill as well for Team Efficiency when Coalition Zoo actually opted to push in towards that fight. So again, they're taking the advantageous fights. They had more tanks actually in the skirmish, and as a result, they were able to deal more damage in the initial fight, and it was enough for them to pull off the win in the end as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Team Efficiency, back to the drawing board on that one, and I think the other kind of crucial thing that we're missing here as well is that they didn't get that big spot out early on where TCZ were going. If Team Efficiency had seen that TCZ were all going down that 1-2 line to push there, then they could have rotated a few tanks. They could have become a little bit more prepared for it. Maybe even spooked TCZ away from doing the push even. But that wasn't to be the case, and instead TCZ got right up that 1-2 line essentially for free. They took 1 or 2 shots and got 1 or 2 shots back. So by the time they were up there, it's so hard for Team Efficiency's kind of lineup to contest against a kind of set down defensive lineup of TCZ, because they had STRVs. They had the STRV on TCZ. They had the object. You know, they had all of those other tanks that just beat out Team Efficiency. So.
Alrighty, well, let's have a look at the post-battle stats there for Team Efficiency and Coalition Zoo. Krazib again with another nice performance for Coalition Zoo. Having a good night tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, Joke as well in that 113, 2.3 thousand damage. Good amount. Madhouse there in the STRV 103B with 1771 damage. Just a little bit above Mr. JT. And it wasn't a very high damage game, but again, we still had 4 tanks remaining on the field. So, Pac-Manius in the AU251, 236 damage. Line with a Bat Chat with 814. Obviously, the damage stats don't tell us the full story there without, you know, kind of knowing that the game was a cap victory there for TCZ.
Still a bit concerned to see Party there with only 800 damage dealt out of 8 shots fired. He's probably only connected 2 there, really. Maybe 3 if he got some pretty bad rolls. But look, it's yeah, it's not good to see. Like, Party typically is the one on point for Team Efficiency dealing the damage.
Yeah, a little bit worrying, I guess. But as long as JT can start at the top of the scoreboard and potentially carry Team Efficiency, then they should be all right. I'm not sure, but well, we'll have to wait till the next side of Prokhorovka till we can determine that, Jordan. And well, I am going to be saying that this is going to be a little bit harder for Team Coalition Zoo to win. TE should have a little bit of an easier time here on the attack.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, because there's lots of options that you can do on the attack on Prokhorovka, and having an S-tank, a single S-tank Madhouse can't guard both of the caps perfectly. You know,
and Team Efficiency looked a little bit shaky yesterday on Prokhorovka on the defense as well. I mean, I know a lot of their shots didn't go where they wanted them to, but there certainly was some other issues for them as well. Having said that, on the attack, they lost Skell early on, and they were still able to find a win there. So, you know, they looked pretty strong actually on the attack.
Yeah, look, they did, and I'm not sure what Jordan's laughing about, but TCZ, I think they really do need to be laughing after that victory, because Team Efficiency, I mean, it always must feel good, I think, to win and just know that you've won from a cap victory when there was 4 tanks on the enemy team. You know, like, that we're still alive at the end of it. It's like, okay, well, we just got gifted a free victory. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, so hopefully here that we're going to see the guys on Team Efficiency have a bit of a better time on the attack than they have just had on the defense. I'm wondering what kind of a strategy they're going to have.
I know what strategy they're going to have. I'm just thinking over in my head now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to win this, they're going to pull out the patterns. It's going to be, six patterns.
They're not going to pull out the 6 patterns.
Yeah, I reckon it's time for 6 patterns. I think if Meltdown can do it, Team Efficiency can do it.
I think it's time for you to get a new job because you're not a very good analyst.
Oh, that's right. I'll just do play-by-play.
Yeah.
I'll do a little swap.
Maybe it would work out a little better. Anyway, for me, in my opinion, I think what we're going to see from Team Efficiency here is probably more of a 2-flag push. I think they're going to be a little wary of the S-Tank, so they are going to be sending Skell for some pretty aggressive scouts. They'll want to spot out that S-Tank early. If they can spot him out before he gets into a position, like up in that sort of A0 line, that's what Skell was looking for yesterday. If they do that, you know, then if they spot him while he's moving into position, that's going to be great for them. But figuring out where that S-Tank is going to be is really going to be key here for Team Efficiency because it's almost 100% chance that Madhouse is going to pick that one up. We've seen him run every single time on Prokhorovka so far. Team Efficiency should be ready for it.
Yeah, look, I would agree with that. I think Team Efficiency here, they've sent it enough that they should know how to react to it. But the issue is with the S-Tank is that there's no actual single way to perfectly counter it. You know, you really do need to play around it. And, you know, an S-Tank all the way at the back of the rail tracks, like, it can semi-fire on the 2 flag. It can help out on the 2 flag. It can help out on the 1 flag here on Prokhorovka. And there's no one way without maybe an artillery piece to guarantee getting it down unless you just rush it with batch hats, which isn't always an option. So, look, yes, Team Efficiency, they should know where the S-Tank's going to be and should have an idea of how to try and counter it coming into this, but it's still not going to be easy for them.
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there's 3 places where the S-Tank can be here on Prokhorovka defense. One is over the 1-2 line, down towards the very back of that one. The other one in towards where the railroad is, just sitting on that little mound in the middle, and the other one obviously up in the A0 on top of the hill. So there's 3 potential areas which that threat is going to be sitting in. Once Team Efficiency have scouted out and figured out which one it's in, that's when they can start to figure out what kind of strategy they want to go for. If he's up in the A0 line, let's head over towards the western flag, you know, so we don't have to worry about that. If he's over towards the 1-2 line, we head over towards the eastern flag and just completely ignore the STRV. I wonder if that's going to be something that is going to be playing on the back of the minds here of Team Efficiency. Is that going to be what they're going to decide to do? Obviously, it makes a lot of sense, but maybe they just want to fight the STRV head-on. I mean, we've seen a few teams do that. They can get some favourable angles into it, especially in the A0 line when the Batchat can climb in towards it. If the Batchat can catch him off guard, it's going to be a difficult situation for him. But I think it's time to find out what we're going to be seeing coming out from both of these teams. Let's have a look at the tank picks.
Oh, T95. That's what I
tank.
like to see. That's what I like to see a lot from TCZ. And I didn't even tell them to pick it, so good on them for actually locking that one in. Obviously,
So,
the T95, that Tier 9 American tank destroyer, very, very slow. Going to be getting buffed next patch, apparently. But for now, it is a super slow tank, 750 Alpha.
Pretty much everything that we just spoke about there regarding the STRV is now null and void because, well, coalitions who haven't picked it for the first time this season. And this is a bit of a curveball. We'll have to see how Team Efficiency is going to respond to this one.
I think we're probably going to be seeing the T95 on the railroad. Just sitting at the back there at A6 or so. Because obviously it's not going to be able to move too far.
Pac-Manius is in the T95.
Pac-Manius, it's interesting that they haven't decided to put Mr. Madhouse in the T95. But look, if Pac-Manius knows how to play it, then more power to it. But for now, it's going to be a very 2-flag focused defense here from Coalition Zoo, and it looks like that's where TE, just judging by the early map positions, were thinking of heading.
I'm failing really to see how this T95 is going to work out here for Coalition Zoo. I don't see how it's sort of works in the setup that they've got. It's not going to really offer much in the ways of resets. Like, it's obviously quite a lot of armor, but when he's going to try and go in for resets, he's going to be just dinged out and taken down eventually by Team Efficiency. Maybe, I guess, best case scenario for Coalition Zoo is Team Efficiency tries to set themselves up on the 2 flag, and the T95 can just push over the rails and try and do some damage that way. But yeah, I'm not so sure about this.
Oh, I love it, actually. No, but look at this. He's actually going to be running with Camonet and Binox. So Pac-Manius getting the spots on this side of the map. And it means that even if Pac-Manius is spotted out, he's effectively a Tier 9 scout here, except he's a Tier 9 scout that can deal 750 damage to you fairly frequently, which That's pretty smart by TCZ to actually do that, because now TCZ don't have to commit much towards that one flag unless they know that TE are going for a full push there. And yeah, we can see that he's just a dedicated scout, because I don't even think Pacmanius has fired on more there.
Well, this is what Coalition Zoo is trying to become a reality. They're trying to push Team Efficiency over towards that one flag. You can see how much of a presence they have over on the 2 side of the map. So they're trying to say, Team Efficiency, it's not going to be worth it for you to push in here and try and get this 2 flag. And well, so far it's not worked out for Team Efficiency. JT, as you mentioned, taking a lot of damage from those tanks up on the hill. He was just trying to peek up there, go for some trades, and well, it hasn't worked out very well for him at all. Although Team Efficiency starting to fight back a little bit here. Joke now, they'd be committing just a little bit too much to that fight.
Yeah, so Team Efficiency get their comeuppance for JT getting taken down a little bit with some shots on towards Joke. Joke is in the 113 though, so they're not going to be too concerned. Crazy up there is still spotted, so we wouldn't be surprised to see Team Efficiency start kind of blind firing down this cover. Obviously that the entire town near that 2 flag is destructible.
Oh, well, this could be dangerous for Coalition. So you can see Madhouse at the moment is on the reload. Skell knows that he's been spotted out. He actually spots out the bat chat of Lion, or at least someone did. I imagine it was Skell. Madhouse remains unseen for the moment. Getting very close to being off the reload, so that's lucky for Coalition Zoo that Team Efficiency haven't just YOLO'd it over onto the hill, but reload is off, and now things are a little bit safer for Coalition Zoo once again.
Yeah, okay, so TCZ, they've got a pretty good setup here. More we can see him, he doesn't actually have those coated optics, does have the vents. So, just you're lacking that little bit of extra spotting range. Could come in handy when trying to spot out a T95 over there. Scale, we can see that, with an average accuracy of 75%, pretty good for a light tank driver. And honestly, even the average damage there, 1134. It's not too bad for a light tank driver either. And he likes to deal damage in his RUs, etc., because he's got that gun rammer as well.
He does, he certainly does. Yeah, he's a little bit scared of those bat chats, which is fair enough, given that he is in an IE-251. Again, still hasn't spotted out Madhouse, so that's kind of the linchpin here for Coalition Zoo. If Team Efficiency commit too much to that hill, while the double bat chat is up there, they could lose a lot of tanks in a very quick succession. So they need to make sure that they spot out Madhouse there if they want to take control of that hill. Pacmania still hanging on to his position there in the bush. See, having a bit of trouble figuring out what they want to do here.
It's going to be hard, whatever they want to do. I think their only chance is if they get into towards these 113s, and yeah, just keep on getting shots like that.
Oh, that's nice.
Perfect. And now if they make a hard push on towards a 2 flag, I reckon TE aren't looking too bad. They do have to deal with those bat chats up on the hill though for TCZ, and I think that's what JP Xerxes is doing. He might be heading up the hill to help out Skell, and I think it's maybe Party up the top there as well.
Yeah, it would be Party.
So if they can get up the hill and do a bit of a coordinated push on towards those 2 members of TCZ up the hill, and then push on towards the 2 flag with their members in the middle, Team Efficiency should have this one in a good position.
Only 4.5 minutes to work with, so not a huge amount of time here for Team Efficiency. Still enough, obviously, but they do have to start to get a bit of a wriggle on. Bohan blind firing up towards the hill there has yet to actually really connect with anything, and what Team Efficiency is waiting for, I suppose, waiting for more to rotate across. He was obviously up towards the northern part of the map there, getting some shots in, getting some scouting done up there, but now looks like Team Efficiency are starting to group up down towards the southern part of the map. JP Xerxes pushing forward now in his own bat chat. He is spotted out, but Madhouse, with only a couple of shells left, is going to be on the clip. If Team Efficiency choose this time to actually push in, Madhouse is going to be in a whole world of trouble. He does have a bit of backup from a couple of those Coalition Zoo bat chats, and there's a TVP there as well, but still, having one bat chat without a clip loaded is obviously quite important.
It is. Right now, Party, his clip's loaded, he's ready to go in. I'm seeing a few spots coming in. JP Xerxes, not entirely sure, but he's just being safe underneath that little ridge line there. Team Efficiency, they do need to pull the pin pretty soon.
Party needs to make sure that he doesn't waste any of these shots. Lucky that he's actually spotted out Madhouse there, because if he had have used up his entire clip, Madhouse would have been right on him and would have probably taken him down. Party is going to be forced back from a little bit of damage there, but overall I think it's a favourable trade for Team Efficiency. They have the HP advantage. Madhouse might actually even go down here. He's a one-shot, and JP...
And in the meantime, Pac-Manius, they just got a good shot on towards Skell as Skell made his way onto the cap. This is actually a slight issue here for the T95.
But Pac-Manius has been spotted out now, and he's going to start to take some damage. He doesn't really have much of a chance to rotate across here because he's in a T95. So Team Efficiency have fine. Slowly, indeed. They've only got 2 minutes left to work with. Bohan taking a big chunk of damage. That's a lot of shells used from those autoloaders. Coalition Zoo need to be careful here. Lion, how many does he have left in his clip? I'm not sure, but he's going to go down regardless, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Bohan getting very, very low, but Party's going to be going down as well. And in the meantime, Skell still isn't on the cap on that one flag. 1 minute and 55 seconds left. Coalition Zoob's still got 5 tanks left and only 3 tier 10s, unfortunately. The Emil and the T95 still up for them, but I don't really think I've seen the Emil do too much. That T95 really struggling to ricochet any of those shots from JT now.
Yeah, Team Efficiency have slowed things down just a little bit. They know they had enough time here. They were waiting for more to come off the reload, and he has just about come off the reload. In the end, Team Efficiency actually pushing in a little bit earlier than they needed to, but I think it's going to work out quite nicely for them in the end. JT in the Object 140 having a bit of a field day here. He's got a lot of damage into that Object 1, towards the T95, sorry, and now he's just going to push forward here and try and deal the damage onto the rest of these 3 tanks. 1 minute 14 left remaining here for Team Efficiency. They do have quite a lot of low HP tanks, so they need to be a little careful here that they don't let things slip, but Roby1 Kenobi getting low now in that Kranwagen. He's on the reload now as well. I think it's probably all wrapped up now for Team Efficiency. Madhouse is not going to get much more done there, and he will go down in the end. So Team Efficiency do secure 1/2 at least of Prokhorovka, bringing it to a 1-1 overall, of course, and a 4-2 is the advantage for Team Efficiency right now.
4-2. Well, look, I'm feeling pretty confident in my prediction after that one, Jordan. 4-2. It's been one apiece there on Prokhorovka. Team Efficiency, that was the sort of win that I expected them to get on the defensive side. I still actually would have liked to have seen an STRV there from Madhouse, from Team Coalition Zoo.
Like I said, I don't think the T95 was all that impactful, to be honest. He was getting a little bit of damage over to Skell, but in reality, he was just a big punching bag.
Yeah, look, and I don't think he took many punches as a big punching bag, unfortunately. I didn't see too many ricochets coming off him, and I would have actually liked to have seen him go for those shots earlier onto Moore when Moore was pushing in kind of near him and being very, very aggressive down that 1 and 2 line. Yeah. He didn't actually shoot. He had the opportunity to, I'm almost sure of it, but instead just wanted to stay unspotted, I guess, stay hidden in the bush. But I think at that point, 750 damage is worth a little bit more than that. So
750 damage onto a bat chat would have been worth a lot more than the damage that he got onto Skell there in the RU-251. And as soon as Skell took that hit, you could see he kind of just sat behind the rock and was like, well, whatever. Like, he didn't need to be in the fight anyway.
Yep.
And he was content just to be
tier
the
9
spotter.
for tier 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, look, the T95 not quite working out how TCZ would want it to there, and I think maybe it would have worked out a little bit better if T had gone for a 1 flag rush, potentially, and trying to rush directly in towards it. But typically speaking, in T95, you want 3 walls around you, and he had 1.
Alrighty, well, let's have a look at the post-battle stats here for that one. Prokhorovka, Safi up the top, getting a good job done in his bat chat. JT and Bohan as well up pretty high. I mean, even Party finally getting a little bit of damage across, having a bit of a better day so far than, well, what he had earlier on today.
Yes, Party doing a good amount with that 2.6k damage, and well, Roby1 Kenobi, we've seen the ML sometimes struggle, but with 2k damage, it's obviously not struggling too much for TCZ. And Madhouse there with 1778 damage in the bat chat. Strange to see Madhouse in the bat chat after all of his S-Tank shenanigans, but there you go. I guess he can make the bat chat do okay as well. So I'm going to be seeing Joke there down the bottom on 0 damage. just very, very troubling for TCZ, and Pac-Manius in that T95 only got the one shot off.
Yep.
I definitely would have preferred to have seen him on that rail track potentially, or somewhere else.
Yeah, well, whatever the case was, it didn't work out too nicely, as predicted. Now moving on to Ghost Town, though, here it is, the final map of the regular time. And if Team Efficiency can pick up at least one of these sides, they will be able to close it out with the 3 points. Obviously, that's what they're going to be wanting out of this one, and I dare say they should be able to close it out here. I feel like they're a strong side on Ghost Town, even though they looked a little bit poor on it yesterday, especially on the attack. Those was pretty quick and easy issues to fix, I feel.
Yeah, as long as they don't do a random YOLO push on the attack through the past the 2 flag and just press W until all of their tanks are dead, then it should work out better for Team Efficiency. Because that's exactly what they did yesterday, and it didn't work. So surprise, surprise.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, they probably wanted to catch the UDES out off guard, something like that. But really, what ended up happening was that they were the ones that were caught off guard and just got taken down, picked apart really by Karen Tiger. They're going to be going up against a bit of a heavier lineup this time, more than likely. You know, we know that Karen Tiger likes to pick the 50Bs, the Batchats, whereas Coalition Zoo are going to be more likely to pick the E100s and probably FE215Bs, 113s, things like that, more so than the 50Bs and the Batchats. So I think that kind of a defensive setup, really, from Coalition Zoo is going to lend itself to a bit of a slower play here from Team Efficiency as well. They're not going to want to run into a bunch of E100s.
I think so, but I think we're probably going to be also seeing the UDES out from TCZ, the Swedish Tier 8 tank destroyer, of course. They can sit that one right up on the hill near the spawn area on the defensive side and just get that to get some great shots, great resets down to the 1 flag. And if Team Efficiency do what they did yesterday and push right through towards the defenders, then the UDES is going to have a great time as well if they do decide to lock it in.
Yeah, well, I'd suspect there's a reasonable chance. I mean, Madhouse likes that tank, though I did say that about the STRV here on Prokhorovka. I was pretty much 100% sure the S-Tank was going to come out for Coalition Zoo there, but it didn't. So there is a possibility, maybe, and obviously we're only talking about here now Coalition Zoo on the attack, on the defense, sorry. Maybe we don't even know what side they're going to be starting on, so it could be Coalition Zoo on the attack, in which case I feel it's just going to be probably E100s and see or hope for the best.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But, of course, Ghost Town, it is a very symmetrical map. So whatever we see on one side, don't be too surprised if we see something similar on the other side. It does depend on what these teams want to do. We might see a few Batchats thrown into either side for a little bit of flanking action like we do occasionally see. Maybe even some Tier 9 Batchats. But overall, expect some heavies on the defensive side and offensive. Let's see what we've got.
Alrighty. UDES for Coalition Zoo and the FE215Bs as well for Coalition Zoo. E100 as well for Team Efficiency, so that's probably Bohan. We're going to be seeing JT in the IS-4. He likes that tank. It's a pretty good tank up against the E100. It's difficult to pen. I mean, if you pick up a 113 or something like that for Team Efficiency instead of the IS-4, the E100 is going to go right through it. But the IS-4 just a bit more armored, a bit more difficult to penetrate. Even the Batchat might have a little bit of difficulty here. But overall, you can see the two distinct styles between these two teams. Obviously, Coalition Zoo going very much more heavy-oriented, whereas Team Efficiency have gone the mobility sort of focus. They've got the 50Bs, they've got the Batchats, and they've got that big amounts of DPM.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm worried about Team Coalitions already because they have picked that T57 Heavy, which I am still of the opinion that there's no real point picking it when the Kranwagen is available. But we'll see if Nomad is able to utilise that T57's higher damage output on the Kranwagen to his advantage. Right now, Madhouse just perked himself up onto the boost up here on the hill. He's just going to be able to get some shots on towards the spotted AMX 50B of Party. And TCZ, I like the defensive positions here. Very stock standard kind of defensive setup near that 1 flag. They can rotate on towards the 2 flag if they need. And it's going to be up to Team Efficiency to poke them out, find out where they are, and decide how they're going to push into them.
Yeah. Liking that this is a little bit slower, though, from Team Efficiency at least. JT going for some pokes, seeing if he can spot anyone out, but not having too much luck, obviously. No one really giving him all that much here. Coalition Zoo not too keen to bleed any damage over early on in the piece like they have a few times so far this series.
Yeah. So TCZ here. Just going to be getting a few maybe blind fires, but we do actually see Pac-Manius there. He had the CO2 in his equipment slot, which is interesting. I wasn't too aware. the FV215B needed that. I played it a couple of times myself, but interesting, I guess.
Did you notice if you had the vertical stabilizer? Because I know a lot of players in the FV215B don't run the vertical stabilizer because of the fact that it's so accurate already.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it wouldn't be a bad maneuver, or a bad idea even, to forego that. I personally like my vert stabs, but I'm not really a pro World of Tanks player. But yeah, running those CO2 obviously adds fuel tank durability. Long story short, reduces the chance of fires. Which I didn't see whether he also had a fire extinguisher, because you'd think you probably wouldn't need a fire extinguisher if you've got the CO2 on.
Yeah, probably not. At least it would kind of defy the point.
Yeah, defeat the purpose.
Bit unlikely you're going to get set on fire twice in one match. So Team Efficiency are starting to rotate a bit across the map. Skell's gotten control over towards the south, and now Safi is making his way forwards as well. We see the rest of Team Efficiency starting to push, although JT, the one that's unspotted, has sat quite static in his position. So Coalition Zoo for the moment don't have a huge amount of information as to what is going on. Lion, of course, hanging around though in his bat chat. He will start to spot things out. Takes a bit of damage for his troubles. This is the second time we've kind of seen him in this position, and last time he did get caught out a little bit. He was under a bit of pressure, but he managed to get out okay. It looks like he should be able to get out of this one relatively safely as well. I don't think Safi has a pretty easy angle here. It's going to be a nice shot if he does manage to hit one, but it's probably wishful thinking just going for these trays, to be honest. Oh,
that's a cheeky
how do you
shot.
hit that? I don't even know.
Very cheeky shot there from Mr. Safi. But he will be reloading, and Lion is going to be heading away as a wounded animal there, dropped down to 285 HP in the bat chat. So pretty good start early on for Team Efficiency. They have been slowly moving around the town. JP Xerxes actually taking a little bit of shots as well. I'm not too sure where that's from, whether it's the Udes or maybe Pac-Manius potentially. It did seem like a big shot. Team Efficiency got to be really careful here that they don't just engage in these small poke wars against TCZ, because that's what TCZ will beat them at with those two E100s.
They're not too keen for that anymore. They have decided to get themselves on the flag, and it's now up to Coalition Zoo to respond. But this is quite a nice defensive setup actually for Team. Yes, but the issue is for Coalition Zoo. Normally we say, okay, there's so many angles for the reset here for Coalition Zoo. In this case, Team Efficiency are blocking off really the two dangerous angles. The only one that the guys from Coalition Zoo have to get resets from is sort of that E5 position.
Yeah, but I still can just see them getting resets from it fairly easily. So I'm not convinced in this strategy here from Team Efficiency, but we'll see how it works out. Looks like that base cap is going to be ticking down. They've only got one tank on it as well, so you know, no rush for Coalition, so they can take their time here and decide when they want to push in. It's looking like Roby1 Kenobi Joke, they're pushing in up the top with those two E100s. These three heavies are pushing in as well. We're going to see a bit of a brawl.
Safi and Skell are going to have to do something big here, because Team Efficiency in the town are for sure going to be losing this trade. JT actually getting off the cap there. Party's still on the reload, more now on the reload, and Coalition Zoo have not lost that much HP. Party really had some troubles getting through those FV215Bs, and he still is. He's managed to bounce one of those shells already. He should connect the next couple, but I don't even know if he's going to get this fourth one off. I think he probably will, but whether or not it's going to be on the target he wanted is the real question. Team Efficiency overall haven't traded this one out too well. Skell off camera is being able to pick up the Udes. It's a 2-for-1 at the moment, but Team Efficiency still quite far in deficit in terms of that HP.
Yeah, absolutely. Team Efficiency, they're not looking too great, as Coalitions are leading by about 500 HP there and getting some more shots. The issue for Team Efficiency is now that they're getting a few reloads happening on their AMX 50Bs. JP Xerxes is just coming up now, and Joke's not looking too healthy. They need to take these tanks off the field. They need to close them out, and they're not at the moment.
Nope, and Safi has arrived. Skell has also arrived, and I think that's going to be the nail in the coffin really for Coalition Zoo. Things were looking 50-50 in the town for a moment there, but now with the extra backup of those Batchat APs, it should be not too difficult of a situation for Team Efficiency to clean up these remaining few tanks. JT's had a ball there in the IS-4, just shooting into the sides of the E100, so he's going to be up towards the top of the damage stats throughout this one as well. And it's just Nomad left alive here in his T57 Heavy. Well, he can essentially clip out JT, JP, Moore, and Safi in one shot each in the entire clip, obviously. But he'll still have Skell to deal with, and Skell's going to have more than enough damage to deal with it.
Yep.
Worst case scenario for team efficiency there. And it is going to be TE closing that one out with a win on Ghost Town.
There we go, 5-2, caught it. Pretty happy with that, I think, and it's sort of the result I expected. Team efficiency, they did play that brawl quite well. They got off the cap very early on. They didn't try and force a silly cap victory. So at the end of the day, as soon as TCZ pushed in, it just turned into a brawl. And it was very well played by Team Efficiency's autoloaders there. They primaried the right tanks. They left the E100s up till basically the end. Got rid of those FV215Bs. Got rid of kind of, what else? I guess the E100s from the TCZ lineup after that. And took the damage off the field.
Moore did a pretty good job of surviving throughout that fight as well. He was very low for quite a long time, but he managed to get probably at least 2 or 3 clips off, I got to say. Party managed to get 2 clips off, but I think 2 clips would have been the maximum that he got off there, but still some pretty decent damage coming out of those AMX-50Bs before they went down for team efficiency, and then obviously that flank that Skell and Safi were able to pull off with the Batchat APs. They picked up the kill onto the UDES. Once they dispatched of that, they came around and actually rejoined the proper fight, and it was the end of, well, a long drawn-out fight, really, for Coalition Zoo, but it was always going to go one way once the Batchats rejoined the fight for team efficiency.
Exactly, and they rejoined at the right time. They got the clips off at the right time, and that was all she wrote for TCZ. Unfortunately, they just needed a little bit better focus fire there to take the guns off the field and rather than just spread their damage out across all of team efficiency. Let's take a look at who was the top damage dealers in that one. See JT, surprise, surprise, in the IS-4 up the top with 3.3 thousand damage in that one. Roby-1 Kenobi in the E100 dealing 3.1k as well. He's also got to be pretty happy because we don't always see those E100s doing too well for TCZ, but this time they did actually.
Yep. So there's more as well up towards the top. Like I said, he did a pretty good job of surviving, and he got almost 3 clips out, firing off 11 shots. 3k damage is pretty much where you want to be with your 50Bs. Bohan quite impressive as well in the E100, almost 3k as well. So not too bad across the board there for team efficiency. Safi and Skell missing actually from the top 7 there, but even that 1300 damage out of the 2 Batchat APs is not quite, you know, not too poor of a result.
Yeah, well, Skell also got 3 kills, so he did the cleanup work. And yeah, the T57 Heavy for TCZ should have dealt more damage. As simple as that. We saw him get caught behind a FV215B that team efficiency actually tracked twice, and that meant, honestly, by the time that he had got around, he probably could have got 4 shots off and peeked back in that T57 Heavy. So that was a big kind of boo-boo there for Team Coalition Zoo.
And despite the result today being the same as what we saw last time between Coalition Zoo and Team Efficiency, I actually think Coalition Zoo have looked better today than they did in that
100%.
first one. The first one I felt Team Efficiency probably let 2 games go, really.
Yep.
But this one, at least to me, on Prokhorovka, Coalition Zoo looked like they won that one on their own.
Yeah, 100%. And it's great to see Coalition Zoo looking good now. And in some of their maps, in their more favoured maps, when they pick the right tanks, and they can, you know, take it to team efficiency this season on those maps and don't just get awarded victories. They actually have to earn them, and they did in those 2 games tonight. So it was a 5-2, but I'm definitely going to agree with you there, Jordan, and say yes, Team Coalition Zoo, definite improvement from the last time they played TE.
Still, though, pretty good result for Team Efficiency. They managed to pull off the 5-0 sweep so far. They've not lost a single match in Season 2. This is going to be, obviously, another 100% week for them. Even though maybe there were some stumbles against Karen Tiger, they probably could have closed that one out with a 5-3. But they managed to pick up the 5-4 tiebreaker. It's still a win. A win is a win. Getting those points on the board, and I think Team Efficiency going to be quite happy with how their first couple of weeks have gone.
Yep. Absolutely. So TE going to be happy with that one. They're looking right up the top of the standings. But let's take a look at who was the top damage dealer across the entire match. Is it going to be JT? Yes, it is. And 6 out of 7 TE. Oh, that's a bit rough for TCZ there. And
yes.
Is that above JT's average top damage?
It
2.5k?
is. I think he's about 2.3 from memory. Let me have a look. 2.46 actually. So he is just a little bit above.
That's good. He's going to be happy about that. And Moore, it's great to see Moore coming back as well, because yesterday he had a bit of a rough day. And Crazy and Bohan dealing just about 2k damage each. Party there with 1444, and it will be Mr. Skell down the bottom, of course, with 1078. Pac-Manius there at 672. That's
Yeah, he was mostly in scout tanks tonight as well.
I suppose, yeah. Madhouse, 1103. Like when Madhouse is playing the S tank every game, he gets more than 1103 damage. You know, it's as simple as that. So it's average damage. So a little bit disappointing to see Madhouse all the way down there. Hopefully he can pull it back in their next match next week.
Yeah. Well, that is our first match wrapped up for tonight here. We do have a few more coming up.